Check this out. This is like a Star Wars lightsaber. It can literally blast through metal. Today I want to show you the new machine that I have in my workshop, and it comes from Relilaser. And this is a CNC machine capable of cutting or engraving metal. Actually cuts even better than the plasma cutter because this uses lasers, and lasers are much more precise. It's been a while since I wanted such a machine, and I finally have it. And this includes a 70 watts laser diode for cutting organic stuff like wood, leather, cardboard, or who knows, acrylic if you want, but also a laser welder and metal cutter, which is the cool part. And this is of 1300 watts. So in this video I want to show you everything about this machine. And I'm very excited. It's the first time that I will be cutting or welding with lasers. That's amazing. So have in mind, this is my first test with the machine. I want to show you what you receive, how to assemble it, and how to connect it to your PC and start cutting or welding, and also my first experience with it. So have that in mind, I'm not a professional laser welder. So if you want to see my first test and how this machine works and what you get when you buy it, well, let's get started. Here I have everything that you receive with this kit, and have in mind that at the moment that I'm recording this video, this is a Kickstarter, but this is a beta version of the machine. You will receive the final version of the machine with all the improvements. So let's check it out. Starting from this side, we have all the physical parts for mounting the CNC machine, and these are just metal parts, the X and Y axis, the stepper motors, and then we have the electronic parts. So these are just basic metal parts, rods, bearings, and so on. I have a few more parts behind me, but since there are a lot of parts, I have them just a few here on the table. And you also receive this for the CNC machine, and you get a manual, so all you have to do is to follow the instruction and assemble the CNC part, and then add the electronics. We have the power supply, and then we have the brain of the CNC machine, all the electronics here. We have a fume extractor with a vent, with a ventilator. This is an air pump, I think, some protection goggles, and the laser, which is a 70 watt laser. As you can see, it has a huge heatsink. It also has the air input here. Super awesome, can't wait to test this. And we have some screws and nuts, obviously with the proper labels, with letters, so you can know how to follow the guide and assemble the entire machine. And also the laser head. Now this laser head is not for this laser, but is for this laser. And this is the 1300 watts laser welder machine. And as you can see, it's huge from the pictures. I thought it would be a smaller machine, but that's because inside you have space for adding the metal rollers, and you have air input on the back. You can use argon or CO2, or you can use just pressurized air. In a moment, I'll go through all the specs, but you have the laser gun, a bunch of safety features, and basically when you get the CNC, you can change this head with this head, and then you can place this on top of the CNC machine and use it as a laser cutter. And as you can see, this head has some input from the machine, so you can control it with GRBL and control how the power of the laser and so on. So in a moment, we'll also test it to weld and to cut metal. Now all there is to assemble the CNC machine. Assembling the machine is pretty easy. It's as any other 3D printer or CNC engraver. You just follow the steps on the guide, so I won't go through all the steps. I'll try to play some footage on the screen, but since you already have the guide, I won't do that. Just follow the instructions, add all the screws and assemble the machine, and then add the electronics and the laser and test it out with GRBL, any GRBL controller or laser burn. So yeah, let's do that. I won't show you the entire process, but I do want to mention that you need a big space, at least 1.5 square meters. As you can see, this is not a small CNC machine, it's quite big, and I'll be moving this around. So I need some space. I especially made this table for this machine because the actual table was smaller, so I added this part here and also made it with metal so it can handle a lot of load, because this is made out of metal. It's quite heavy, and have in mind that the box when you receive it is also quite big, so make sure that you have enough space to fit it inside your workshop and then assembling it. So yeah, let's continue. And is assembled. Look at that, it's huge, and you can only hear the buzzing sound of the air compressor because it's not compressor, it's an air pump for the laser, and now it's turned on, and all is left to do is to make some tests. And obviously the big test will be with the laser welder, so we could cut some metal. So yeah, now let's make some tests. As you can see, the machine is huge, so now I could cut huge acrylic and wood panels. I have everything here on the side. We have the power supply, the air pump, and also the output for the the extractor should go outside. I don't have that connected, and if I activate it, it will make a lot more noise. Let me just take this here and activate the... You have a switch here. As you can see, I'll turn it off because it makes a lot of sound. And yeah, you can have autofocus for the laser, you can move it up and down, and the rest is made with a GRBL laser controller from your PC. Okay, so I have it connected to the GRBL controller, and now I can move it. So yeah, I have some 10mm MDF here. Let's just test it out. Let's make some cuts. So guys, this is the first test, and actually I wanted to stop the test because you can clearly see in the video that with only one loop at even low power it already cut through this 10mm wood board. So the others don't care anymore because it was cutting the first at the first loop, and the second and third loop are just cutting in free air because there was no more wood. So yeah, the power is so high that with only one loop you can clearly directly cut this kind of wood. So we should place something even thicker for more tests, but I think the more interesting part is the other kind of laser. So guys, it clearly has a decent amount of power, this laser diode, for cutting this thick wood so fast. It could clearly cut a lot more, and also having the Z-axis with the stepper motor, you can control the height and go even deeper without changing the shape of the laser. But I think it is a lot more interesting to test the other laser for metal, because in the end this is the same kind of laser that we had on this channel. The only difference is that it has more power. You can clearly do a lot more stuff with it. You can engrave on leather, you can engrave on plastic, you can cut acrylic, you can cut this kind of wood or any other kind of wood. So you can do the normal stuff that you do with other CNC's laser that we have seen on this channel, but with a lot of more power. So now I should test the other part. Second part of the video, the welder, the laser welder. But first, protection. Before we pass to the laser welder, this is the final cut, very clean, and also the puff of air from the air pump cleans the area. So as you can see, it's quite a nice cut. You can see some details here. So maybe we'll make some more tests for engraving details. But yeah, this is not the perfect wood to make details because it already has this grain, but it's very nice to see the thickness that it could handle. It's quite a thick wood. So yeah, this is the final cut. And by the way, I didn't show you that, but this has a sensor here, and you have to press the autofocus button and it will go downwards, touch the sensor, and automatically find the focus spot. And that's very easy to have because in just a couple of seconds you have it focused in the correct position. Now, start using this laser is not as fast as this one. You first have to get used to this, and also you can use this laser handheld. You don't need a CNC machine, so you can just buy this if you want to weld, for example. But if you want to use it with a CNC machine, you need this to change the tip, the head of the laser. But as you can see, you receive it with a bunch of stuff, and the most important part is this part here. This is the wire feeder for if you want to use this in weld mode, because inside here you can get a roll of metal wire and use it to weld. You can also get the tube for compressed air or argon or CO2 gas, so you will have an inlet for the gas behind it, so you can weld with gas. And banana for scale. You get some protection, some different tips here for the gun. You get some bearings for the wire for different diameters, some gloves, and some different goggles, because the wavelength of this laser is different, and the grounding wire. So this is what you get with the kit. So let's just see inside. Just click here. Okay, that one. You can open it. This has a big space for any kind of spool. I have here some wires. This is carbonated steel, and for now you can only use a solid core wire. You can use with flux, so you need gas if you want to solder. Then we have the feeder with the DC motor here, And the pullers, you pass the wire, you have to change the bearing depending on the diameter. I think this is 0.8 millimeters. Just feed it, take it out here, connect it to the tube, and start welding. We'll do that in just a moment, but this is what we have inside. And these are the inputs on the back. The main input, very thick cable, because this is 1300 watts and it might use more than 2000 watts of power. So you need a special fuse and breaker for this. Don't connect it to a normal output. And yeah, and then you have the connector for controller, on and off switch. Then you have some fuses, and this is the input for the gas. And this is the input for the feeder. Oh yeah, if you want to control a feeder here. But yeah, this is the input for the gas. And that's it. And then we have the gun with a pretty long tube, and inside here we have the feeder tube and also the air tube. And even if you're not welding, so you don't need argon or CO2 gas, you still need to use compressed air because this could get quite hot, so it's better to have a flow of air to keep it cool. And then on the tip, you can change the tip depending on what you are going to do, if you want to cut or if you want to weld or if you want to clean. You can also have a galvano actuator that will move the laser to clean the area for rust or any kind of dirt. And then if you take this out, you can take out the lens, because believe it or not, this still has something that will wear out, and that is the lens. Here we have one. As you can see, it already is being used a little bit, and this will get used with the time, so you'd have to get some spare ones. The kit already comes with, I think, 6 or 7 of these lenses, but if you are going to use this a lot, you'll have to buy a few of these lenses. Also, the tips will also get used, so you have to buy a few of them, because obviously the heat and the melted metal will wear out the tips. And this is the laser turn on. You have a bunch of safety features. You have the key, the emergency switch, the ground connection, which is, if it's not connected to the gun, it won't work. On the gun itself, you have yet another switch to turn on and off the laser, and then another switch to press it. So just make sure that you won't use it without goggles or without protection. And then on the screen, you have to turn on the laser and on the feeder if you want to weld. And you have to select here in expert mode if you want to go from welding, from cutting, depending on what you want to use. And for the settings, for now they have a password, which is 0128, I think. And that's another safety feature, so you won't touch it without knowing. And yeah, you can change here the settings for the laser, for the device, for the feeder, and so on. And that's it. If you want to weld with this machine, which we'll later make some tests, it uses only solid core wire, so you can use it with flux, and that means that you need gas. In this case, we have argon and CO2, so you also need a gas regulator. You feed it on the back, and that's it. But for cutting, you can just use compressed air. And from the air compressor, I have my tube here, which is connected behind on the machine. So if I turn it on, with the machine turned on, as you can see, we have here the pressure, 394 kilopascal. And if you click this button, you can enable the air output. You can hear the air. So that works. Now we can weld or cut. Okay, so for cutting metal, I've removed the laser diode and I've added the tip for the welder. So now we have to take these screws off and now add the welder gun on top of the tip, and then connect this cable to the back of the machine. And actually it doesn't reach till there, so I'll have to place the machine below here or something like that. And then connect the USB cable and control it as a normal CNC, but with different settings. Instead of the laser diode, we should change to the laser welder and start testing. Okay, obviously with the machine turned off, we swap the tips and make sure that you remove this plastic film from here. And now that we have the tip, we install it back. And to communicate, we have this cable, which we have to connect here and here between the gun and the CNC machine. Okay, now the gun and everything is connected to the machine and to the PC. In Laser GRBL, you have to add some settings for L0 equal to 2 for setting it to this machine. Don't worry, everything that I'm making it's on the PDF, so you don't have to worry about that. Just a few settings for GRBL and then you're ready to go. And now the leveling system is based on a capacitive sensor, which is basically the capacitance that is sensing with the actual gun through this wire. And to do that, you have to press down the down button and the autofocus, and it will automatically adjust. And now it's getting down using the capacitive sensor, and there you have it, it's now focused. And there you have it, guys, my first test cutting metal with the laser welder. And this is a 0.8 millimeter metal sheet, and as you can see, it cut it. Actually, the power was too high. I can see here some metal bubbles. I have to make some tests with speed and power in order to know for each thickness and each type of metal and what power I need to use to cut. But that's the same for a normal laser. For wood, for example, you should make a pattern and try speed versus power in order to know the power that you need to use for each one. But look at that. The cut is perfect, not just like a plasma cutter, because plasma cutters are cutting a lot more rough. This is a lot more precise because it's laser. And I also want to try thicker metals, and I've seen that some metal got to the tip of the laser, so I have to be careful with that. That's why you should buy a few of these tips so you can have them to change. They're very cheap because they are made out of copper. And that's it. In just a few seconds I've cut metal, so now I can make a lot of projects and ideas cutting metal. So cool. So I've changed the sheet to 1.5 millimeter iron sheet, and let's see what we can do with this. So look at that, it cut it in like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 seconds, and this is 1.5 millimeter sheet, iron sheet. So it's quite awesome to have such power for my projects, because imagine the possibilities that I could make with this metal cutter. Now I still have to adjust the power because actually it was too powerful. As you can see, it touched the machine below, so I have to lower the power, maybe increase the speed. So I should make some more tests with more speeds and see the maximum speed and power that I could use with this machine. And now what I will do is the same G code, but I will increase a little bit the speed and also the gas pressure, because the more pressure we have, the more it will push the metal downwards. And here you can see I've made 2 more tests with 400 and 3000 millimeter per second, but it didn't cut through. And then with 2500 I made another one with a little bit more gas pressure, and as you can see it doesn't fall the piece, but if I push it just a little bit, as you can see with my finger, I can break it out. So yeah, I think I'm reaching the limit for the speed with this machine for this kind of metal. Obviously with other metals it will be different. So guys, it's quite obvious that it has a lot of power, so I can cut some very thick metals. I have some projects on my to-do list. For example, I want to make my own brushless motor cutting metal sheets with this machine. But this is just a review. I had it for a few weeks. So now we should pass to the next part, which is try to weld something. For that we need to add the wire and the gas. So what we have to do is to add the spool here, pass it through the gears, and then also add the feeding tube, connect it to the screw, pass the wire and output it on the other side. And on the gun we also have to add the support for the wire and add it at the tip. Then we are ready to weld, and we also have to input on the back the gas and set the pressure with the gauge. Guys, I've started welding with this machine like half an hour ago, maybe 1 hour, and I'm already making perfect welds. Now, look at this one right here. I will try to make a close-up for you. Now, I've never welded like this with an electrode or not even with a MIG gun. And as you can see, it's perfect. Now I have to say, you will see in the video that the first time that I'm welding is this bar here. I had some errors, I had some problems because I had to adjust the speed, and also I had to press a little bit more the wire because if not, it was slipping out. So now that the wire is pushing me at a constant rate, I can get these perfect welds. Now this is a carbon steel, and I also have some stainless steel here, and as you can see, look at that weld. Actually, it looks so professional. I would never be able to weld like this, and it's so easy. Just take the gun, adjust the settings for speed and the scan width and so on, and just keep it, and the wire will push at a constant rate. And then I was also able to weld this which looks like a very perfect weld, as you can see here. And I've also made some other tests and tested with the hammer, and the force is quite well, the weld is quite strong. So yeah, I approve this machine. I can't believe how easy it is to weld with this. Now I know that it's laser and it's dangerous, but if you take all the precautions and you add the protection for your goggles and you add the protection for the ground wire and so on, I mean, it's amazing welding with this. So guys, I think this is a pretty complete machine. You can cut, engrave, you can weld with this, both metal, wood, plastic, anything that you want depending on the laser that you use. But this is awesome. You can weld and cut metals, which by the way, I'm preparing a few projects for that because this was just a review, me testing the machine. I have to get used with this for a month or 2 months, making more tests. But what I want to do, for example, I have an idea to make my own brushless motor. So I'll get some sheet metal, cut the shape of the core in multiple sheets, glue them together and make my own core for my brushless motor and then test it out. Now that I have this machine, I can do that. Before I wasn't able to do that. I was trying to make my own brushless motor with 3D printed parts, but now I can make it with metal. Imagine that. Also remember, have in mind that this could also be used as a cleaning machine, but I don't have the head for cleaning. Basically, you can clean rust, you can clean even plastic or your wall or anything that you want because it's a laser that burns anything. So I need the galvano head that will move the laser side to side, but I don't have that. But if you also get that, you can clean. So basically that's it. This was just a quick review, me showing you the machine. Have in mind that the working area of this machine is 800 by 800, which is quite big. The power of the machine that I have is 1300 watts, but you also have a model for 900 watts, I think, which is a little bit less. And the rest, the power consumption, have in mind that it could get up to 4000 watts. So make sure that you have a good breaker and good electricity in your workshop. At the moment, this is a beta version because this will be a Kickstarter. So I'll give my feedback to the company and they will improve it. So you might get a different model if you order it. But yeah, this is the laser welder and cutter and also the CNC machine. The price is also awesome because I was used to see those huge machines that, for example, Jerry Rigs everything uses with Oshkosh, and that are costing like $500,000 each machine. Those are very powerful lasers. But in this case, I have my own laser cutter in my own workshop and it's not that pricey, especially if you work with this and you're planning on making products, for example, cutting metals. If you remember, a few years ago, I've made my own escape room and we paid a lot of money to a company to cut those panels out of stainless steel with laser. Now I could do that just by having my machine here in the workshop. Yep, imagine that. So guys, please comment below what ideas would you make with this machine? What should I do? What other projects besides the brushless motor that I want to make? What other projects should I put on my to-do list? Because for sure I will make a lot more videos with this machine. I was only using it for like 2 weeks for now and I had to get used with all the parts, I had to assemble it. Now that I have it, I'll make a lot more tests and when I get used to it, I'll make some projects with it. So yeah, comment below what ideas you have and I hope that you like this review and the unbox and how to prepare the machine. And if you have any question about this machine, comment below as well and I'll do my best to answer all of them. So yeah, hope you like it and you enjoy this brute, this huge machine. Keep up, you guys. So guys, here I am in my workshop, another video that ended. I hope that you like it. And the most important part, I hope that you have learned something new. Anyway, I just wanted to give a thank you to all my patrons, to you guys, to the viewers who are supporting me, liking my content, sharing it, commenting below. Just check my website, check my shop, check my t-shirts. All this kind of stuff will support my channel. So thank you very much once again.